Hey guys, this is Erin Smith with whoisaaronsmith.com and Smith TV. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday teaching you how to achieve the dream of complete MLM automation with your business. And so I made my little Word document here so I don't get off track, because today we're going to take a field trip. We're going to take a field trip to my blog. And so my blog is, for those of you who don't know, it's whoisaaronsmith.com. You can read right here, aaronsmith.com. And if you see purple, you're probably in the right spot, because to be honest, I don't see very many purple blogs out there. But purple is definitely my favorite color. Anyway, so here we are on my blog, and the first thing I want to talk about is how do people find my blog. So first of all, probably one of the number one things is through my SEO, my search engine optimization. And so what you want to do with SEO is, what I use is called, let me type it in here. It's a plugin called SEO Presser. You can actually find it on my blog underneath my tools page, and that one helps me a lot in knowing about my keywords, how to find good keywords, where to put my keywords, how to make my keywords, with them bold, italicized, and all that good stuff about what SEO does with keywords. And so when you start getting really good at SEO, your content will start ranking on Google. Excuse me. And so if your content starts ranking on Google, when people start typing in those keywords that you found, that you've written about, that you rank on Google with, then they're going to start finding your blog. And what is it? Something like ridiculously like 75 to 90% of people click on the first link. So if you're number one spot on Google, you're doing pretty good with your article, right? And based on what your content is, it attracts the people that you want to come to your blog. So if you are in network marketing, you want to talk to network marketers. What are you going to write about? Network marketing, right? Right. Perfect. It makes complete sense. But there are some people out there that have network marketing blogs, and they'll write something about like their border collie puppy, or they'll write something about their cooking class they went to, or something like that, which is fine to write on your blog. But if you're wanting to find serious network marketing people, because that's the kind of leads you want, that's the kind of people that you want to come to your blog, because you don't have to convince those people that network marketing is an awesome industry. And you're not going to find the people that are going to be running away screaming, MLM scam when you say you're in an MLM business. You want people who are already convinced and who are already wanting and in network marketing. And so the other thing that I do with my blog is I share it everywhere. With sharing it everywhere, there's also tools that you can use. There's TribePro you can use. There's OnlyWire. There's TubeMogul, which actually is not TubeMogul anymore. I keep forgetting what it turned into. But TribePro, what that does is that it automatically shares your content with everybody else, and you're sharing their content. And so with TribePro, I've gotten hundreds and hundreds of shares just from so many people wanting to share my content. And that's another key thing about your content, is that your content has to be king. It has to be awesome. You can't just throw something together and expect everybody to come flocking to it. You have to actually say something useful, say something that people, something controversial, something that's from your heart. It just can't be, just stupid stuff, right? And then OnlyWire also takes your content and shares it with over 30 social media sites. And yes, you do have to have your own account for that, an account for each and every social media site. And TubeMogul is more for your videos, if you want to share your videos everywhere. And so the other thing that how people find my blog is that 95% of my content that I have out there leads back to my blog. Like all my articles, my videos, my everything else that's out there that I put out onto the internet on my other websites that I've made, somehow, somewhere, they usually lead somewhere back to my blog. Because what my blog is, it's like my central hub, right? Because if somebody watches a video and they think it's awesome, they click on the link below, and it'll either take them to a capture page where I talked about in my video, where I'm like, I talked about Facebook marketing, and I say, well, if you want your Facebook marketing training, click on this link, and I'll take them to the Facebook marketing training capture page. Or if I say if you want more content or you want more tips or whatever about this topic, click on the link below and go back to my blog, kind of a thing. And so a lot of people, that's how they find my blog, is that they see my content, they like my content, and they want to know more about what I've written about. They want to know more about who I am and what I have to offer, so they click on my link back to my blog. And so how do I convert leads from my blog? So first of all, I have a big opt-in form is the very first thing that they see when they come to your blog. You have a video telling them to opt in and welcoming them to their blog and telling them what the blog is about. Call to action in my posts. I have comment redirect. This is actually a WordPress plugin, and it's kind of cool. So let me type in here. WordPress plugins, comment redirect, and opt in with my posts. So let me show you all this stuff. So here we go. So when they first come to my blog, the first thing they see is this big, huge video. It says, click here for your free gift from Erin Smith. So when they click on that, I say, hey, this is Erin Smith, and I introduce myself a little bit, and I talk about my blog and what my blog is about. And then I talked about this over here, Get the Action Marketer's Guide. This is an ebook that I wrote a long time ago, actually. But it's still really, really good content about how to build your network and how to get people, basically attraction marketing, how to get people off their butt to join you and to get to know who you are and wanting to join you in your business, right? And so in this video I talk about that, and I actually point in my video to this opt-in form that's huge, right? And I say put your name, email, and phone number in here. If you leave your phone number, I will be calling you. And so that's why I say optional here, because some people are like, no, I don't want you to call me. And if people don't want me to call them, but they still put their phone number in, which it does happen, I don't want to waste my time with those people. And they're like, who are you? Why are you calling me? Because they didn't actually want me to call them. And so they're not sitting there expecting me to call them. Does that make sense? I only want serious people who actually want to talk to me to enter their phone number. And I say that in my video. And so they look at this and they say, oh, okay. And then they put their name, email, and teach me the secrets, right? So that is my #1 source of getting the blog here. And the other thing is, I didn't put on their little thing here. Another WordPress plugin is called Pop-Up Domination. And so this one and SEO Presser you actually have to pay for. So those are the only two blog plugins that I've actually paid for. And Pop-Up Domination, have you ever seen, I've been to this website too many times, my website, but when there's that big pop-up that comes up and everything else behind it goes black. So with that pop-up, you have to have a kick booty offer, right? And with the offer, like, I can make a whole new video. I think I'm going to actually, about how to make a good offer and how to get people to opt in with your offer with network marketing. And so I have my 8 secrets to traffic success or something like that for my pop-up. And so when your pop-up comes up, the whole entire thing, window screen, is the pop-up, and so they have to actually click X to get out of it. When if they see that and they're like, oh, that actually sounds kind of cool, and they enter their information and they become a lead that way. So there's pop-ups also. The other thing is here's your videos, right, or your content. You have awesome content. In the bottom of here, you have to have some sort of call to action. So I said, what do you think of the pros and cons of the different products in the MLM industry? Leave your comments below. And so with this, my call to action was leaving your comments below. Sometimes I tell them to opt in below, and I'll put a little opt-in form at the bottom, or I tell them to connect with me, just some sort of call to action, because not only you're looking more like a leader because you're telling people what to do, which is the same thing you're going to do in that video that I was showing you at the top here. You're going to tell people to opt in to get this email offer. And so, like this one, this is an opt-in form also in my actual post. So did you enjoy this post? Sign below to get my email updates every time I publish a new post, plus get instant access to my 5-day video bootcamp. So when they put their information in here, they go to a page that takes them to my first day of my video bootcamp. And my video bootcamp, you know, the first day I talk about attraction marketing and I tell them to get magnet sponsoring. My second day I talk to them about getting a marketing system and I show them my Lead System Pro. The third day I talk to them about how to find a really good network marketing business and what you need to look for in a network marketing business, and I tell them to join Numis Network then. And then the fourth and fifth one are just pure information training content about Facebook. And so that is a very good boot camp as well, because I can't tell you how many times I've sold Miley System Pro or Magnet sponsoring through my video boot camp, and it's freaking awesome because that video boot camp didn't take me very long to make, and yet I've made quite a bit of money off of that video boot camp just because I'm giving pure good content and I'm telling people why they need to get this. I tell them why I learned from it and be like, you can learn this stuff too, and you can, you know, dominate with this Magnet sponsoring and Miley System Pro that I have, so why don't you get it too? And then they get it. So what else did I talk about? Oh, comment redirect. So comment redirect. So when people leave a comment, where you click here, leave your comment, when they click submit to the content, they go to another page on my blog, and on that page it looks a lot like this, where I have a video and I say, you know, thanks for getting to this page, your action marketers guide or your video boot camp is in your email, watch this video. And it's actually the same video, and this video is where I talk about, you know, thanks for opting in, check your email for your stuff, and then I go on to talk about, you know, a little bit about who I am and talk about how I got into network marketing and that kind of stuff. And then at the end I say, you know, I'm going to show you how I started making money, and I tell them to click and to continue, and people are like, well, how did you start to make money? And they click on continue, right? So let's back up a little bit. So where do they go after my blog? That's kind of what I'm going to. So first of all, the first thing I want to talk about is that you have to be congruent with what you said in your video or your headline or whatever it is that they opt in. So if I say get your action marketer's guide, the next page it better have something about the action marketer's guide, saying something about the fact that you know, your action marketers guides in your email, or take them straight to the action marketers guide, whatever it is that you want to do. And so for example with mine, in my video the very first thing I say is you know, your action marketers guide is in your email, go check it right now. So that is the very first step, is being congruent with whatever it is that you put on your opt-in. And so if you're not congruent with the next step, when you're saying, you know, your action marketers guides in your email, you're creating trust right there. You're creating the very first step of creating trust, which trust is the very first thing you need to have before you make a sale, right? And so these people, when they opt in, they are expecting to have the action marketers guide somewhere instantly. If you don't have that, then they're like, oh, that's a scam, I'm not going to talk to her ever again, kind of a thing. So being congruent is very important, and just going from step by step to step as you're going through your sales page. And so this page, I talk about action marketers guide, I talk about how I got into network marketing, I introduce myself, and then I say, you know, if you want to know how I got going in network marketing, click the continue button. So let's click the continue button here. Where does that take us? I also say, remember check your email for your free training. So takes them here. So this, how do I pause it? So this is a presentation about Miley System Pro, and it's actually a pretty good presentation. It goes over what MLSP is, it goes over how you can actually make money, and you have an add to cart button, risk-free 2-week test drive for $10. Okay, this is my sales page. This is where people are like, $10? Really? Is that all it is? And so then a lot of people just click add to cart and they get it because it's only $10 and it's only a 2-week commitment, and they have all these other testimonials, and they have this kind of stuff about what kind of training that they have in there, and all sorts of stuff on here. See, this is an awesome sales page, isn't it? Testimonial about it. And so then only $9.97. And so the other thing is, guys, with this, is you need to lead them down the path to where you want them to go. You can't just go straight to the sales page if you haven't told them that they're going to be going to a sales page. You see that step in between where I talk about, oh, well, your Action Marketers Guide's here. This is how I got into network marketing. Go on to the next page to find out how I started my breakthrough with network marketing. And then they go to the sales page. Does that make sense? Okay, the next thing you want to do, track your progress with your leads. Okay, so Mark Hoverson, he's a millionaire dude in network marketing. He's awesome. If you have any of his training, or if you want to get awesome kick butt training, Mark Hoverson is awesome. So, track your progress with your leads. He always says that amateurs try and pros track, right? And so if you go to your blog, and let's say if you're getting 500 visitors to your blog or something like that, right? Obviously your content is really, really good. But if you're not getting leads, your call to action or your opt-in form is not working, right? So that's why you want to track your progress, because this is a Pretty Link. Pretty Link plugin is a pretty good, awesome plugin that you can use with WordPress. And basically what it does is it'll show you how many visitors went to your blog, and how many visitors went to your next website, and how many visitors went to your sales page. And so if you're able to track how many visitors went somewhere, and how many of them actually opted in, how many of them actually bought My Lead System Pro, you're able to see what part of your process here is making people making people die. For example, if they go to your blog, you get 500 visitors a day to your blog. People are going to your blog, right? So your content's good, you're sharing it good, but if nobody's opting into your blog, your opt-in form or your opt-in offer is not good enough. So then, if you're getting 500 visitors to your blog, and let's say you get 10 leads from your blog, so people are liking your opt-in form, they're liking that. So then when they go to the next page, are they keep on going to the sales page, or are they stopping here? If they're stopping here, then there's something wrong with this page. Something wrong with the video, something wrong with the headline, there's something wrong with this page, so you need to tweak this page. So that is how you're actually going to figure out how to get people from becoming leads on your blog to actually becoming sales through your sales page, whatever that might be. Mine is My Lead System Pro. That's the ultimate sales page, is with my blog. And so, also, take them to the sales page eventually. There's so many people. This guy, I coached him, and he's like, okay, Erin, so this is my blog, this is my opt-in form, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And so I was on the phone with him. I'm like, okay, where does your opt-in form go? And I'm like, you have a pretty good headline here. And he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, boy. Big red flag there. If you don't know where your opt-in form goes, that's a big, very bad sign. And so I opted in onto it, and guess what? It didn't take me anywhere. It took me to a 404 error page. And so, right then and there, if he's getting any leads, they're dying right there, because they're like, okay, well, I wanted that offer, but I didn't get it. And so then they just drop you and go on to whatever else that they're going on for your day. Okay, so the last step to getting leads to sales is follow-up. So, follow-up. Your blood, sweat, and tears will be for nothing if you do not follow up with your leads. These people who I tell them, if they leave their number on my blog, I'm going to call them right here, right? The optional. If they leave a phone number and I don't call them up, why in the world would they want to buy from me? Because I told them I was going to call them, right? And so most people, when they leave their phone number and they actually want to talk to somebody, they just want to know that there's a person behind the computer. They want to know that if they're going to buy something from me, that they actually, want to do business with me, that they actually want to get to know me, kind of thing. And so if you spent all this time putting out your content, putting out your videos, doing all this stuff to get leads, and you actually start getting the leads, but you never follow up with them, what's the point? Because most people will not buy on their first look at whatever you're selling. And so Aweber is a autoresponder system that I use. Aweber is essential, or GetResponse, or some sort of automated email system. Because some people say, well, automated emails are bad. It's like, no, actually, they make your life a whole heck of a lot easier, because that's part of the MLM automation. And plus, whenever you want to send an email out to your list, which the list, your money is in your list that you're making, it's in the relationships that you're building with your list, with these awesome emails that you're sending out. You can create email and send it out to your list all in one big shebang. And I've had people tell me that, they'll say, well, I don't need Aweber, I don't need GetResponse, I can just do it through my normal email, and I don't even have enough leads to make it worth it to have Aweber. If you think that, guys, if you think that you don't have enough leads, that Aweber is essential to your business, you are in a poor mindset. You need to get out of that mindset, because if you're thinking to yourself, well, I only have 5 people to follow up with and it's not going to get any bigger, where is your dream going? You need to think big here, guys. Think big. So that is my video today about how to get people to your blog, how people got to my blog, how people opt in, and the sales page, the next page, and how they become leads to sales on my blog. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Leave your comments and questions below, and I will talk to you later. Here on Smith TV, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and talk to you later.